Few days ago, even after 3 visits to talk with me, they sent another group of ex-governors who come to talk with me in Abuja. I gave them my stand. I said, I've made a public declaration. I'm not a dog. When I say something, I go back to eat it. If I say something, I say it. If I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to say it. And I said, you have heard me. They said, yes, we have heard you. This group met you. You told us. Again, we are just trying to say, sir, think about it. A few days ago, I was going to Yola to address some leaders in Yola. A governor, former governor, changed his ticket because he learned I'm going to Yola. Got on board just to have one-on-one meeting with me, because I have not given them the room for them to be able to come to see me. So he flew with me in the same aircraft, went with me to talk with me on the same project. If I have no persuasion and conviction that 2023 Peter Obi must be the president of Nigeria, I would have compromised it. Because I would tell you a lot of misbehaviors. But you don't look at the misbehaviors, you look at the goal. What is the goal that is before us? What must we do to get this job done? So while political party members are fighting themselves, leave them with their fight. Push on and get the thing done. I can't stand it. I can't stand the pain of Nigerians. I can't stand the pain of people in the hospital. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand young people. Their school and education has been delayed by irresponsible people. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand seeing young girls, young boys walking on the street, hopeless. I saw a medical doctor yesterday. He's a medical doctor. He's doing his residency in Jude here. But he told me, he says, sir, I have already written an exam. I want to leave the country. They are in their number. Then some political nonsense will be fighting among themselves on whether you get position or no position. It's not about position. You'll be doing this fight, and the wicked enemies of Nigeria will take Nigeria away. That's why we are here. Oh. That's why we're here. If it is on personal life and comfort, I won't do what I'm doing. You will just only be hearing me like any other person, having my crusades flying around the world. If anything will happen in Nigeria, I have my passport. I can go to one of the nations with my whole family and stay. But ladies and gentlemen, home is home. Home is home. That's why the issue of being intentional and resolute. We must be determined in our hearts to say that this time around we must get things right. If it is sponsorship of people that will give us the billions, Atiku is ready to do that. Tinubu sent a delegation of leaders that met me in Lagos to discuss with me. After I received them, I said, on all grounds, Shetima is from my state. We are from the same people. So if I'm going to support anybody, I'll support Shetima, because it's my person. But ladies and gentlemen, I have graduated from tribalism. Whether you are my brother of the same blood, I fight for justice. What is good for the black is good for the brown. And that's it. That's the purpose. Why? I told the Tinubu delegation that came to meet me with me, and they gave me every reason. Of course, their reasons were very informative, but they are not needed. So I've met with both camps. I've met with different presidential candidates who have been coming here to meet with me, to talk with me. But I took the route of a path that looks very dry. It is this dry path that will lead you to the promised land. So we must know. Dole musam meyesa mekena. Meyesa mekataruana. But we must not call him Mujiba and Muyiwaka, Mutabaduna, Magana, Surutu. No, we are here on a mission. Number the Mukena, ya isa ya chanza Nigeria. Ya isa, mu isa mu chanza Nigeria. We must understand our aim. And that will influence our intentions and our design. The goal that is set before us and how we can get it done. What are the results that we're going to have at the end of this exercise? And that's why you realize that someone, Kanuri from Borno, is standing with an Igbo man. Because I'm not tribalistic, I'm a Nigerian. My father fought the First World War and the Second World War. My father fought for humanity. He came back home from Burma with all the medals because he stood to fight for a continent and for humanity. I am coming from that breed. A breed of an intelligent officer who was not compromising. My father never picked one dime from the coffers of the West African Frontier Force, neither when it was metamorphosed into the Nigerian army. 1 penny for him to bring to his house. He stood to fight for the people. When the civil war was taking place here in Jos, this is where I was born. When the civil war took place here, my father secured a lot of the Igbos and kept them in his house to secure their lives. Because what you do to one, life is a cycle. And so, of course, they have seen a very respectable man, very respectable Islamic man. They've seen, they respect him. So nobody even came around the house. But Igbos were staying under the bed, hiding until my mother was feeding them until the war was over. We must know what we're standing in for. The only set of people as of today that will heal the economy of Nigeria is Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not our Messiah. Our Messiah is God. But Peter Obi is an instrument. So I don't want any one of us to use the word Peter Obi is our Messiah, is our Savior. Peter Obi is not our Messiah. Peter Obi is the instrument the Messiah will use to save Nigeria. You can imagine, just in the house of one young boy, just few days ago, 380 something million was found in a house. The question I ask is, how did that young man make 380 something million in his house, and the entire community is dying in hunger? Sometimes when I talk about this, my heart begins to bleed within me. This is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. This is the reason why you are selected for all of us to be gathered at such a time like this, and take away from us the noise and the confusion, even among the obedient families. And know that at this point we need to get our acts together, because we're engaged in a war. Tinubu is not going to fold his legs and watch you and say, okay, you can take the Nigeria. They are going to be very bloody. Hear me very well. They will be very bloody. Atiku is not going to fold his legs and watch things. They are going to put all the necessary machinery they can. And I'm telling you, very bloody. Hear me well again. Very bloody. But hear me. When we define our purpose will make us to stand to lay down our life to protect the glory of the future. The moment they see that resolution, that determination, it doesn't matter what they have. With our stand, with our drive, we will cripple them down. That's why money that they have, that's why all the instruments that they have, like Goliath and David, we are having only stones. But with our stones, we're going to bring down every Goliath in Nigeria. Some people have kept Nigerians bound for years with fear, imprisoned Nigerians. But by the grace of God, all of you that are sitting down here, you are the Davids. You are the David that have come to the scene to see the situation of what is going on, and you're saying that Goliath, enough is enough. You must go. And we're going to get them out of the way. We're determined. We've made up our mind that we must be driven by purpose. You must find out the reason why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we doing what we're doing? So that we can find the way for it to happen. When we understand why we're doing what we're doing, then we can find the way. Success demands singleness of purpose. If we are going to succeed, we must have a single mind. Single mind. Let me tell you the truth here. You saw, those of you who have been following recently, because of what Israel had gone through, suddenly they have now virtually re-electing their former prime minister. Yeah, you know why? Because the people are resolved that they must get things right. Look, we, the black race, when the black race in them, sometimes we can be very stubborn, so divided, and then the enemies will always be using our division to be milking us. Is that right? But this time around, we are saying all our division, we're collapsing it with a single mind. We're driving ourselves to be able to succeed on this mission. We have less than 90 days now to accomplish what we're doing. I'm counting days. I'm not counting months. You hear them, Paul, say, we have 4 months. We don't have 4 months. Count days and hours. And tomorrow is going to be 89 days we have left. Next tomorrow is going to be 88 days. Before we leave here, we're going to be left with around 85 days to be able to get this mission done. And the success of this will be determined by the singleness of our mind, singleness of our hearts. Our emotion, our will, we all pull it together. Can I tell you the truth here? That any amount of money, for instance, the ICT will need to be able to power what they're doing. Do you know that we can make contribution among ourselves here and get a project done? You see, nobody ever gets himself saved with external help until he starts within. No matter who is going to help you, if you don't start helping yourself, no matter the help coming, that help will not do so much for you. So we must be single in our mind so that we can drive this whole process of winning. By the grace of God Almighty, Our strength, we don't depend on our minds, and our strength, we depend on God. For God to be able to gather all of us here in this number, it gives us the success that we are ready for a new Nigeria. That's why we travel from distance location to come here. Some even arrive here on Tuesday. Arrive here so eager to just know what to do. Even though their arrival date was yesterday, but they arrived much earlier. Why? It's showing the readiness. Look, time is not on our side. I finished a lecture in Yola. I wouldn't call this thing. Large leaders came from across the country. And when I finished my presentation, the leaders all stood up and said, Duba Malam, wherever you enter, we will enter with you. That was something that happened. That was the touch of God. And I believe God Almighty. Our trust is in God. And we believe that He is on our side. Is that right? He is on the side of the poor. He's on the side of the depressed. He's on the side of the oppressed. And Nigerians will get things right. I've been privileged to virtually go to every continent in this world. I've touched every continent. Let nothing but the truth. You know, Nigeria became a nation as a result of nations within this circumference being put together, all right, from different parts of this, different nations around us. And Nigeria was formed as a big nation. This country you see, there is no nation that has the type of treasure God has put into this one nation. No nation on earth. I'm saying to you, no nation. What God has put inside this one big country that has come together to form what you call the Nigerian nation, travel to any part of the world, no nation has the type of treasure. And in every state, God has put something there that is more than enough to take care of the entire continent. Let me give you an example. Just what God has put inside the plateau alone is enough to take care of the African nation. The international community, whether you talk about US, you talk about Britain, you talk about all of that, they draw their strength from what they take from here. It's a blessed country, but a country having the wrong managers. So this time around, when Obi comes on board, it's not going to be a magical. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a fight. But it's better to start well than to continue on the wrong path. We must be single in our mind. We are where we are because of the abuse of purpose. When purpose is not well understood, abuse is inevitable. It's just like when you see a man always beating his wife, kicking the wife. It's because he doesn't know the value of a woman. If he knows the value of a wife, he would not kick the wife and hit the wife and beat the wife every day. When purpose is not understood, abuse is inevitable. When you find somebody, manhandling the children and, using everything to beat the child anyhow and molest the child, it's because the person doesn't even understand the value of the child. But when you understand the value of a thing, there is the way you will handle it. And it's because you understand the purpose of that particular thing. I believe we are all put on this planet by God for a purpose. Knowing your life purpose is the first step towards living a truly conscious life. And that's why you see that in northern Nigeria today, northern Nigeria, we're all from the north here. And the fact is that the north has been ruling Nigeria for over 40 years. And today, if you look at the state of our region, is the most backward region, poorest region, the region with the highest level of illiteracy. But our people are very brainy. The average northerner is so brainy, and because these elites, some of them know that the northerners are, people are very brainy, they deprive the people of knowledge. So this time around, we want to say that all of these political leaders in northern Nigeria, we are sweeping them away to allow the people to breathe fresh air. The North has everything that is needed to be able to make it the most prosperous nation. When I went to Dubai and I spent some time in Dubai, Dubai is nowhere to be compared to northern Nigeria in terms of what northern Nigeria has. But go to Dubai. Dubai has become the America of is it what you call it now? AU, the United Arab. Few years ago, I will go with my family. You go on arrival. Dubai, the nation is begging for visitors. You on arrival, they give you a visa. But right now, they have even placed a ban on giving visas to Nigerians. That's to tell you the level of the way Nigerians are fallen. But by the grace of God, northern Nigeria, we're taking over. We're taking over by putting the right people in power so that they can turn around the vast land that God has blessed us with treasures and minerals under, to become one of the greatest regions. We are the architect of forming the Boko Haram. We are the architect of forming the bandits. We are the architect of forming the kind of people that have put us under slavery, because we don't even understand the purpose why God gave us such a vast land. Wonderful people. The North is the enemy of itself. And so this time around, we want to free ourselves from our slave masters. And we want to say slavery is over. If you believe that slavery is over, say slavery is over. The West cannot do without the North. The South cannot do without the North. The North cannot do without the South. God put this country together. No matter what you boast of in the South, you cannot survive without the North. Now, just like I said to the Igbos some time ago when they were looking for, the IPOP, and I told them, and I said, where would you want to take the vast number of Igbos from the Plateau, the Middle Belt, the North? Where would you take them to? Where would you put them in the East? There is no space. You need the North. And the Northerners cannot do without the Southerners, because everything we are boasting of in the North, of all our wealthiest people, they got their wealth from the oils of the South. So we are a people that are interdependent. We depend on each other, and we must respect each other. I would like you to turn to the one sitting next to you and tell him, I have to respect you whether I like it or not. I must respect you. A life purpose provides us with a clear goal. A life purpose provides us with a clear goal. What are we up for? And what are we up to? And then the finish line. It sets the finish line of what we want to truly reach at. So discovering your purpose as a person, first of all, as a person. I don't want you to look at the number of the delegates here and feel, oh, we. No. A man and a woman of purpose, first of all, discovers himself or herself. Self-discovery. Who I am, what am I living for, and what I'm living for. Discovering your purpose is the most significant thing that you will ever do in your life. I went to a particular country and I was honored as few of the black people from Africa to be recognized by the Congress, the US Congress. I had a group of people who came to meet me, a group of Nigerians who said to me, they respect me for the grace that God has given me and all of that, and they will want me to settle down in America, move all my family to America. That was a good invitation and temptation. But you know, to the amazement, after I was awarded by the U.S. Congress, and Honorable Rice, who is the African Affairs congressman, stood up and gave me the plaque and the honor. I stood up and I said to everybody and every one of them, I said, I have discovered my purpose. And my purpose is to midwife for the rebirth of a new Nigeria. Nigeria is going to be the global player. And all the nations of the world will be coming to Nigeria to seek for space. So I appreciate all the honor given to me, but I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. I'm here with you. Why? Because I have discovered the purpose why. If I have not found the purpose why, I wouldn't have pulled my children after schooling out and coming out with distinction and the best result, got job abroad and working there, earning their dollars. And at the end of the day, I asked them, return back. Right now, my children are back to the country. They're all staying with me in Jos because they respect their father, but it's against their will. All they were saying, Daddy, let the nation be fixed, but let us settle there. Let's raise your grandchildren out. But I said, I agree with you. But right now, I want you to fight for your generation. You belong to the 1% of people that have the privilege, but you must take care of the 99. Together, let's rescue the future. That's why I have the privilege of getting them appointment with government. Appointment to be special advisors, but I've never applied giving one of their certificate to any governor and say, kindly assist and position my child. I have told them to labor with their hands and let's rescue this country. So when you understand your purpose, you know what you stand for and you know what you believe in. Just like the moderator said some few months ago, some leaders in this country were already telling us to prepare our visas and our passports. Some of them started buying houses abroad because Nigeria is going to break. But I have this great faith in me that Nigeria will never break. Nigeria will stand as one indivisible nation. And ladies and gentlemen, I stand here to offer to you, by the grace and the power of the Almighty God, not by our strength and not by our mind, but we have faith in the God of heaven who made this geographical location called Nigeria. Brilliant people, active people. Anywhere you find a Nigerian, abroad, anywhere you find that you see Nigerian in Kenya, you know this is a Nigerian. You see a Nigerian in Ethiopia, you know this is a Nigerian. You go to India, the moment you see a Nigerian, you know this is a Nigerian. Very unique people that God has been able to put together. Ladies and gentlemen, our time to shine as a people has come. Our time to shine has come. Our years of travail, our years of pain, our years of tears, our years of groaning, our years of oppression, our years of neglect, our years of abandonment, God is bringing us to the season of total liberty. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. And when you understand your purpose, you will not wait for anybody anymore to push you, to try to massage your muscles. But rather you will push yourself because you know it's a time to make a difference in your time and your generation. I don't believe in tomorrow. I believe in today. Whatever I will need to get done tomorrow, I do it today. If God gives me the privilege to see tomorrow, glory be to his name. But I will do whatever I must do now, because tomorrow is not in my power. It's in the hands of the one who has created me and has given me the privilege to see today. So I believe with every one of us here that the time of change has come. Let's understand our personal purpose and go all out for it. Every one of us that is here, you are a thunderbolt that God will use to shake the foundations and turn around the atmosphere of Nigeria. If the people have accused you that you have no structure, and they see the division among our team members, it's time to change the dynamics. It's time to change the language and tell them we are one people with one voice, with one focus, with one mission. This mission must be done. It must be done. I would like you to reach out to 3 people and say, discover your purpose. Let me round up in the next 10 minutes. Be seated, please. Live for something, and not just for everything. Live for something. Have a purpose, and let that purpose be able to drive you. Let that purpose keep you in view. Live for something. Don't just live for everything. Live for something. The purpose of life is to contribute something, some way, to make things better. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do to contribute? What can I do? That's why you realize that, just like you heard Reverend Medoki said, this is the honest truth. I'm telling you the truth. It's taking everything, every dime. A lot of projects had to be abandoned in order to drive this process. What can we do? If we do it together as a family, we will achieve more. Live for something. And not just for yourself, but you think about generations to come. If today God will call you home, it's just like the PDP chairman of Zamfara State. Yesterday he was giving a speech, and while he was making his speech, he just collapsed there. And he died. You see, when people live for purpose, they redefine the way they live. Just like the first